Hi everyone, thanks for stopping by and seeing what I'm up to today. Guess what? Stimulus check 2. When will the next stimulus pass? Let's take a listen to what Kevin has to say.
Hey everyone, Kevin here. I have an afternoon stimulus check and future stimulus package update that I think is going to give you a dramatic amount of clarity. Right now, there is so much noise regarding what senator that said or representative that says and what they think and what they're going to do. And something that I've learned, which is very similar to what I teach in the programs below, is that in order to negotiate, you have to have a few different things. One, you have to have leverage, and number two, you have to have knowledge. And knowledge really helps you understand what the other side's motivations are, and then you can understand why people are acting in certain ways. See, generally, people don't act irrationally. It would be irrational to say certain things that we hear in politics, but as soon as you kind of put, like, think about going back to school and kind of like the teacher has some, image up on the little projector, the overhead projector, and you're like, I can't see it, that just seems nuts, like that doesn't make any sense. And then they take out the answer key transparency and they put it on top of the projector, and it's like, ha, that connects the dots, I get it now. Well, in politics, time frames are kind of that transparency that connects the dots on everything. Let me give you an example as to how this works, and then I'm going to show you what Republicans would be really smart to do in this negotiation. It's going to be very interesting, and it's going to be very beneficial to you. So, it's in your interest to keep watching it now. Well,
hit the bell and subscribe.
Okay, here we go. So, looking backwards, remember the negotiation for small business funding? That was the Phase 3.5 bill, right, with the PPP and the SBA loans and that? Well, when that bill was submitted by Republicans, Democrats responded and said, hey, can we get some money for, like, state and local governments in this? And rather than negotiating with the Democrats, the Republicans took to the press and to the media and said, we submitted a bill to get more money to small businesses who are suffering, and the Democrats refused to vote on it. Meanwhile, they're trying to negotiate, but they're getting crowded out in the media, and all of a sudden everybody's decrying the Democrats, going, yo, what are y'all doing? Like, get money to small businesses, let's go. Well, the same thing works both ways, right? And in fact, right now, Republicans continue to sort of decry and complain over the Democrats because the Democrats just submitted a bill on the 12th. This is the week of May 11th, May 15th. The Democrats submitted the HEROES Act bill, which the Republicans are sort of preemptively going, wish list, whatever, never gonna happen, garbage, dead on arrival. We're getting a lot of these sort of really polarizing statements, right? And we're seeing polarizing talk online all over the place. And I'm trying to look at this from a very neutral point of view. Don't care what side you're on. Doesn't matter to me. Just trying to understand what's going on. That's what matters. And so when Democrats submit this bill, Republicans decry it now, but Democrats are going to pass this, it's widely expected at least that they're going to pass this on the 15th. Which is Friday. Which, guess what happens after this House bill passes that provides money to families and provides money to individuals and finally introduces some stimulus. It's not what we wanted. It's not $2,000 per month. It's another round of $1,200 for us and our dependents. And at least now we have more clearer outlines in terms of what dependents are covered. All dependents get it. As long as we have less than 3 dependents, they each get $1,200 checks. It's much simpler. It's much cleaner. It doesn't screw college kids and it doesn't screw adult dependents. Now, once this passes, the bill is automatically going to go over to the Senate. So the expectation is that the Senate is going to discuss this bill between May 18th and 22nd. What do you think is going to happen in the media and on the Twitters and all over the news during this week? Democrats are going to decry the Republicans. They're going to attack the Republicans for stalling on this much-needed money for hospitals and for local governments and for states and police and firefighters. You're going to expect to see photos with laid-off hospital workers and videos of firefighters who have dirty trucks and lacking tools and equipment to do their jobs, because that's politics. When you put the transparent time frame over it, you start realizing, of course, that's exactly what we're going to expect. That is to pressure the Republicans to pass the bill. And Republicans know that quite a lot of them are up against pretty tight re-election campaigns, which also means Democrats are super motivated to do something populist. Populist means good for the masses, not necessarily good for companies, right? And this is an oversimplification, obviously, of that definition, but something that the people would want, right? More money. That's simple. The simplest example of something that's populist. And that tends to buy votes, is what it is. And so what's an interesting thing that I think Republicans could do? How could Republicans counter the complaints and negative press they're going to get from Democrats when Republicans next week suggest, we don't really want to work on this? Well, Republicans would be very, very wise to do something nobody's expecting. Now, this is speculation, but in this sort of lens, it would be brilliant. Imagine this. Republicans say, all right, y'all pressuring us, how about this? How about we remove money for prisons, the cannabis, the tax loopholes, you know, these sort of more left things, right? The SNAP program, the food stamps. Let's cut some of the pork out, which is just called fat in legislation. Let's cut the pork out. And you know what, instead, how about we give money to the people? And the Republicans turn around and say, hey, how about everybody gets 2 checks or gets $1,200 a month for a certain period of time? Now, do I actually think that's going to happen? I don't know. I just think it'd be a very interesting counter-argument, because after what the Federal Reserve said today, where it's very clear everybody is pushing for more stimulus to prevent getting, quote, destroyed. It's not a good word to use, okay? It was in a different tense, but not a good word. For the Fed chairman to say the word destroy is bad. But anyway, that would be an incredible response to the Democrats, and would give the Republicans, in my opinion, a significant amount of populist power, while using that as leverage to combat certain Democrat demands. Now, either way, this negotiation is going to create a lot of pressure for Republicans next week. So either way, whatever responses they come out with, and you know, it's just my speculation that they should come back and say, hey, we'll give you more money because that $1,200 isn't enough. That would be a very popular move to make. But let's say they didn't do that. Either way, I expect there will be some kind of response by the end of next week, and then whatever the Republicans respond.
I know what's going to happen on the 29th. It's my birthday. All right. I had to just... All right.
Within the Senate will end up getting pushed back to the House for reconfirmation at the end of the month, and we might actually see some kind of final version of this bill by the end of the month. Those are my sort of expectations on timeframes, and what I think Republicans might consider doing to strengthen their position dramatically in this negotiation. Now, again, I don't care what side you're on. I'm sort of on the side of, hey, I kind of agree with the Fed. The Fed's done enough for corporations, and right now the people need help. So to me, this seems realistic, but there is an alternate reality here, and the alternate reality is that the Senate either proposes their own bill, refuses to vote on the massive 1,800-page bill with House Democrats. They vote on their own bill, and then it becomes a matter of both sides having leverage. Well, we introduced a bill, and then things are going to get really blurry and really messy and take even longer. That would not be the best case scenario. So best case scenario for all of us would be Republicans using as negotiation leverage on their side, hey, let's get more stimulus checks. That seems to be what we need right now, because that's what the Fed is pushing for. Worst case scenario is Republicans introduce their own bill, and now we're in a standstill for months and nothing happens. Then you have the middle case scenario. The middle case scenario says all Democrats and both independents vote for the House-passed bill, and then all you do is convince 4 Republican senators to vote in favor of this bill, and boom, it passes. That's not going to look good for the other 49 Republicans who are going, no, we're not passing this, and then it passes anyway. That's going to look bad. And there better be some things in that bill that Donald Trump likes, because he could send it back, but that would also be extremely unpopular. So, best case scenario, somebody simplifies this negotiation and turns it into, let's focus on more stimulus checks. Worst case scenario, we get another big bill from the Republican side, and this debate goes on forever. Middle case scenario, we get a mixed vote in the Senate and Trump pushes it through and sort of takes the victory lap. It'll be interesting to see what happens, but I think it's very useful to have an update on timeframes, expectations, and kind of the options in terms of what might happen in this negotiation. And we'll know within the next week or two. So let's.
Thanks, everyone, for stopping by and seeing what I'm up to. This was Mickey. Oh, my goodness gracious. This was Mickey. Well, I didn't know what to say. How about that? This is Silkyfeather with Kevin, and I will add some links below. Thank you again. This is Silky signing off.